Missing the flavors of being home over the festive season, or if you didn't get the chance to indulge with your loved ones, then we've got the cook-along just for you today. Our very own Chef Dumi is up in Johannesburg's trendy Maboneng district, where she's joining Chef Mbombi as they whip up a traditional feast with a modern twist.
The year 2020 had a lot of surprises up its sleeve, but many of us chose to take each of them with a pinch of salt. One thing I can guarantee you with today's cook-along is not just salt, but a whole lot of flavor. We are starting the year off on a delectable note, and that is why we are out in Maboneng to cook along with a chef who not only prides himself in cooking traditional African cuisine, but traditional African cuisine with a modern twist. I am talking about none other than Mbonani Daniel Mbombi, better known as Chef Mbombi. Hello over there, Chef.
Hey, Tumi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, man.
Awesome. As you can see, South Africa, we are still social distancing. It is still in times of COVID, so we're making sure that we're still keeping safe.
Let's do a knife Yes.
So before we go any further, I need to know from you what we are making today.
Look, what I have here is something that is very special to my heart. How I came about this dish was, one of those moments where you just have selectable ingredients in your fridge and you don't know what to cook, then 1 + 1 = 2. So this is basically what I'll be doing. It's an ox liver bacon and jalapeno. I don't know whether I should say jalapeno because in the African context, that's what we say. Mexicans would say jalapeno, but it's fine.
It is what it is.
Jalapeno.
Okay.
I'll go with that one. So it's an ox liver bacon and jalapeno. Something that is very, very different when it comes to ox liver because we don't know it like that. It's either we know it as bride or you will see what some people may say. So today we're just giving it a twist.
Yeah, as I said, South Africa, he likes to put a twist on everything. So if you want to get the recipe details, do go on to afternoonexpress.co.za. But Chef, to get cooking with this first recipe, I've got some bacon here and some jalapeno. What would you like me to do over here?
Please, just slice those jalapenos the way you like. Just dice that bacon.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do here, it's very simple. I'll take my ox liver.
Okay.
So this is ox liver, right? And with this recipe, you can use whatever really. You can use, chicken liver, whatever that you might love to use.
Okay.
Gizzards. So I'm going to dice this very nicely. So I'm going to just cut that.
You mentioned that it's something that came to you when you had very little ingredients in your fridge, which is very important because it is still that time of the year. It's January and people are still counting their pennies and making sure that we make the most with whatever ingredients we have in the house. So this is perfect because it makes use of the whatever you still have left in your fridge.
Sure, look, I'm one person who's a fan to actually cooking cost effectively because I think the setup where I come from a place that it was survival basically, and from ugogo to umama and how they used to cook their dishes, it was always cost effective, and I think that to me kind of it never left me really. So what's a better way to modernize everything that you'll cook, so yeah.
Before we get further, what ingredients are you using for this dish? You've mentioned the jalapenos, but I see you've got quite a few spices over there.
Yeah, so what's nice about this is that it's just spices that anyone can find over the counter wherever you buy. So it's your paprika, it's your cayenne, it's your Cajun, black pepper, and it's salt, really. And the barbecue sauce, it's something that is going to come later.
I mean, who would have thought to put jalapenos in an actual liver dish? Because whenever we're having liver, it's plain liver and just seasoning.
Yeah.
Not all the
Definitely. It's just salt, and we're not even familiar with pepper.
Yeah.
But here we are today. So we've got our ox liver here.
Okay.
We'll just put it back here.
So you've chopped it up into little pieces?
No, for sure.
So we're going to fry it up in those. You don't fry it as a whole big liver. You want those little pieces already chopped beforehand.
Because it's a quick, fast, dish. It doesn't have to take time. Here we've got oil. A real chef never measures.
I didn't say that, guys. It's Chef Mbombi that said it. Real chefs never measure.
Unless you're baking.
Okay.
And baking, it's for, let me not say. But anyways, here I've got my Cajun spice in here. So it's cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is a bit hot, so I'm not gonna add a lot of it. So here we've got our paprika.
Okay.
You can use smoked paprika, you can use whatever. So here we've got our black pepper. So this is, we basically creating sort of like a marinade for our liver. And if you want to get the best out of this dish, you can make this combination, put it in the fridge, let it rest for about 20-30 minutes or overnight, if you may.
I was actually going to ask you about that because people rarely ever marinate liver, but you're actually talking about marinating it for some time before.
Yeah, because marinade is just better because it just makes meat better. But my concept of marinated meat, sometimes it's actually, you know, I don't love meat that is marinated because sometimes meat needs to taste like meat.
Like meat, yes.
You know, it doesn't have to taste like meat sometimes.
Okay, chef, so I'm done chopping your jalapenos here. I'm going to pass them over to you.
Okay.
And then the bacon, you said I also just roughly chop that, right?
Yeah, please.
Perfect.
So what I'm gonna do, as you can see here, we've got a very hot pan.
Okay.
Because it's the same concept of cooking ox liver. It's the same concept as cooking beef.
Okay.
Right? If your pan is not hot, then you're gonna get a chewy, you know, you're gonna get chappies.
Okay.
Really.
We don't want bubble gum.
For people, we don't want bubble gum. So this is very hot. So what we're gonna do, we've spiced up our liver. We're gonna put this in here. And you can tell.
Perfect. And because it's liver, obviously it cooks quite quickly, so you don't have to worry about taking forever, right?
No, for sure.
That's
So here, because we're still gonna take the liver back as we'll go with the process, we'll cook it for roughly 4-5 minutes.
Okay.
On very high heat. Then we're gonna take it back to our bowl here.
Okay, so you're cooking the liver first, and then you're going to add all the other ingredients and cook them off afterwards.
So our liver is cooking.
Okay.
So this is what we have.
That looks amazing. I mean, on its own, that's already ready for certain people, right? You don't need to do more. But obviously, because you are who you are, flavor's your thing, you're adding more flavor.
So I'm going to take it back here.
Okay.
Take the liver back here.
Awesome, chef. So you've taken the liver out of the pan.
Sure.
What's the next step?
So in the very same pan that we were basically frying our liver, we're going to put more oil, the rest of the oil, in there.
And I remember you reduced the heat. It's no longer high, it's on medium now.
It's very important because now we're going to be dealing with onions and they're more delicate and you don't want them to burn. I'm going to reduce the heat even more. Okay. So what I'll do is you need to slice your onions because there's a whole time of slicing, dicing, and cubing. But I'm going to slice this.
This is basically the simplest recipe you could make. Liver is quite affordable. Onions people always have onions in their pantry. Those spices you mentioned, you buy them in bulk, you always have them, you never need them again. Yeah. And are we going to be using these recipes throughout the show, or are you going to be changing it up here and there?
We're going to be changing it. Okay. Then there, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So I'll throw my onions there.
And what are we planning to do with the onions? Do we want to brown them, or are you just...
We're just browning them, just for about 2 minutes. So we're going to add our bacon.
Perfect.
We're going to add our jalapenos.
What I made sure to do that because I don't like my food too spicy or too hot, I took out all of or most of the seeds, so at least it won't be too hot. But for other people, if it's probably the day after Sunday or day after the weekend...
No, it's fine. It's fine.
You can keep the seeds.
We are safe. It's okay. So here, it's garlic.
Perfect.
I love garlic.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever cook without garlic.
So I love it chunky. Okay. Other people love it fine. Garlic is very nice because it's super healthy. It is. Super healthy. So we're gonna throw our ox liver back in there.
The one thing I love about that as well that you've done is because you cooked it and you left it aside, you basically gave it a chance for all the juices
to breathe.
Yes, yeah. And then it means that meat will be nice and tender. So the one thing I don't like about liver is a dry liver.
The dry one, yeah.
You want it nice and juicy and tender and delicious.
So we've got our liver here.
That looks amazing. Perfect.
Then the nail in the coffin is having a good barbecue sauce.
So not a lot?
Not a lot. So maybe just one more.
And if you wanted spicier, you could always use hot sauce as well?
No, for sure. Okay. Yeah. I know a lot of people would prefer it more, hot.
Okay. And what could you eat this with?
The last time I ate it with a roti. You know?
Really?
So it was nice. So you can do it with pap, you can do it with Sam, you can do it with a garlic bread.
Wow. So it's quite versatile as well.
No, sure.
Perfect.
So this is our dish. It's perfect, it's done. This is our liver.
That looks amazing.
I like to taste my food.
It's very important that a chef
I'm gonna
tastes their
take
food.
this.
I can see it. You don't have to say anything. You can just dish up so the rest of us can
Must
enjoy.
I call myself a goat? No, it's fine. It's okay. So what I'll do is I'll dish up this.
I can see everyone's mouth watering. I'm not including myself because Chef, that looks absolutely amazing. Like I
Thank
can
you.
smell it from here.
Thank you. It's the ox liver that went to
Private school.
private school. That's what they say. Don't you want to break the COVID regulation?
I can't come too close, but I'm sure I can just try with my.
Come to break the regulations.
I'll try.
Cupcakes won't hurt you. Break the regulations. I'm just.
This looks amazing. And it's so tender.
Yeah.
This is absolutely amazing. In South Africa, if you want the recipe details, do go to afternoonexpress.co.za. But we have a whole lot more coming up.
Coming up, we're back with Dumi in Maboneng's district as we whip up some peri-peri chicken necks.
Express yourself.
Protect what matters to you with insurance from Standard Bank. SMS LIFE to 31492 for a quote that fits your needs.
Guess what, South Africa? We are still cooking along with Chef Mbombi, and we are in the second part of our cook-along today. Chef, what is on the menu now? What is the second dish?
What's on the menu now is, I'd say a classic.
Okay.
Chicken necks.
Chicken necks.
Very cost effective, I don't want to say cheap. It's something that I remember a friend of mine saying, But how do you eat this thing because it doesn't have meat?
Everyone says that about chicken necks.
No, sure, but there's this beauty about chicken necks, you know, when you suck into that bone, and when you suck into that bone, when you eat into, those bones, crunch those bones, because they are soft bones, and sucking that flavor of those necks, and that's what we're going to be doing today. And yet again, a very simple recipe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You call these peri-peri chicken necks?
Sure.
Okay. So what are we doing? You've got the chicken necks over there. I've got some chilies,
Sure.
and you've made sure you gave me a disclaimer to not take the seeds out.
Please,
Because I did that.
I love my chili.
You love your chili?
My people know that I love my
Okay.
chili. So what we're gonna do with the necks, I've got spices in front of me here.
Okay.
So these are the actual necks that we've got here. I'm gonna take this teaspoon. This is chicken spice.
Chef, before you go further, I
Sure.
just want to find out here, because you did this with the liver as well, where you spiced everything before putting it into the pan.
Sure.
Is there a specific reason why you're doing that?
It's basically just putting everything into one bowl. Never complicate the cooking process while you're throwing in your chicken necks here and you're going with the spice one by one and putting it there. And it's just that whole process just to make it even more simpler.
Okay.
And just putting the flavor and combine it to be just one.
Okay.
So yeah, I've added 1 teaspoon of my chicken spice.
Okay.
I've got my paprika over here, cayenne pepper. I'm gonna add just 1/4 teaspoon
Okay.
black pepper. What we've got here, and this is the most interesting thing.
Okay.
Right, and I know a lot of people, and whenever people of Basekasi, when they're cooking with soup powder, they don't make a paste. They literally take like 500 ml of water and they'll just put 1 spoon, and it's just, it's not a paste. So it makes it difficult. It makes your stews not thicken that much. So the interesting thing that I'm gonna do with this, I'm gonna put the soup powder here.
Oh, into the actual chicken necks.
Into the actual chicken necks. Because we've got stock, we're gonna throw that in. Then while it's reducing and simmering, it's gonna automatically
Thicken up as well.
Yeah.
That's an interesting technique, because most people, like you said, either do the paste or mix the water with...
Of which I'm not a fan of that.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not.
Well, if the beef liver was anything to go by, then I understand it, because the flavor is definitely there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're gonna throw in some salt. Then give this a mix.
That's one thing I've actually appreciated about your cooking, the fact that you get your hands dirty. I mean, I don't think, if you're a chef, if you don't have a messy kitchen, are you really being a chef? Like, the messier the better, right? The food tastes much better when it's messy.
Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, even the places that we go to, people that we call street vendors that are selling food.
Yes.
It's not the most prettiest of places, but we enjoy the food.
True.
We enjoy the food. Less judging and more eating.
More eating.
So here's our pan. It's been heating up. We're gonna put some oil in there.
And would you follow the same concept with the livers, where the pan must be extremely hot, or?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
We can. So these are the necks. Throw them in here.
So this would be in essence like making a roux, where you make the roux first and then add the liquid and do
Yeah.
that. So instead you put the roux around the meat
Basically.
and then add the liquid.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
So I'm just gonna give my hands a quick wash.
While you do that, I'm also going to pass you some of the chilies. And am I also just roughly chopping the garlic?
Yeah.
Or finely?
Anyhow you like it.
Perfect. There we go. Here's your red chili. Chopped up with the seeds. I kept the seeds this time.
Thank you. I'm the happiest man.
Awesome.
So what I'll do is I'll take this onion,
Okay.
maybe just the half of it. Here, I'm gonna dice.
Okay, so not slicing this time, dicing. And I mean, Chef, we're doing a whole lot of cooking, and I'm sure South Africans are quite curious to find out who exactly is Chef Mbobi. Who are you? What are you about? Why traditional African cuisine? Why did you even get into this?
It had to take a very conscious decision for me because I went through the system of studying to becoming a chef, and at first I was intrigued by the whole Italian, system and the structure of it and
French cuisine, all of
the
that.
cheese dishes. But at some point, I had to decide my struggle. I had to decide what I want people to know me for.
Okay.
So while we're waiting for the chili, we're just gonna throw in some. Waiting for the garlic, I've thrown some onions, chili.
Okay. So you wanted to have an identifier of sorts, like what is your brand, who is Mbombi? And
No, for sure, because I realized that, and I started following up on the whole Mbombi surname for me,
Okay.
and it comes from an area in Mozambique, Maputo, and I kind of realized that I'm more African than what I want to be known for at that time when I still wanted to do the whole Italian thing. And I started becoming more inclined with my spiritual world, and it just made sense for me to just go with it. And look, one way or the other, the world is coming back to being African conscious, to being woke, to being, whether it's African food, African music, African food, and it's something that we really have to set a trend with. Embrace, because I always say, no matter how much I can actually cook the most creamiest of pastas, an Italian will never respect me because
True.
I'm not really Italian.
Very true.
But this is my identity. Chicken necks are my identity. That's what I grew up eating. So that's where it comes from. That's where the love comes from. So that's how it started. We're gonna add stock, yeah?
Okay. So you've got chicken stock there.
I've got chicken stock, yeah. Okay. So we'll let this simmer in
And
here.
obviously as it simmers, it thickens up, it gets to whatever consistency we like.
Yeah.
And that's...
So we're gonna let this simmer. Let the stock cover the gizzards.
And you mentioned something about you could possibly also add butter beans if you want to.
Yeah,
for
you can
more.
add herbs if you want to. You can add butter beans if you want to. You can add anything if you want to.
How far are we with the chicken mix?
Look, the sauce is actually reduced.
Okay.
It's becoming more thicker. What I'll need the chili,
Okay.
just to put more chili.
Sure, let me get you a chili. Okay, I thought you were going to garnish with it, not actually put it in the dish again.
Look, for the sake that it's not going to be cooking, it's going to be more visible.
Okay.
It's going to be, it's going to be beautiful. So we're going to put this aside.
Okay.
Then we're going to dish up.
And you've also decided to keep you've kept it authentic with the dinnerware as well.
Is it just a bokok? Is it just it? So, actually going to move this. We're going to dish this up. So these are the necks. Right? These are the chicken necks.
Sauce. It smells amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
And like all the other dishes we're going to be making here, it's strictly traditional, looks very delicious, tastes
Yeah.
amazing. I've tasted the livers, I can't wait to try that. And we can eat it like you said. You can also keep it
Yeah.
traditional. You can have pap, you can have
Oh,
stam,
no. These definitely pap.
definitely pap.
Definitely pap.
I'm going to let you continue doing what you're doing. It looks absolutely amazing. In South Africa, we have so much more coming up. There's still 2 more dishes to do. And Chef, you promised a lot of flavor. So if you want to catch up with us, do join us after these.
Chef Mbombi and Chef Dumi will be whipping up some boerewors stew after these.
Express yourself.
Protect what matters to you with insurance from Standard Bank. SMS LIFE to 31492 for a quote that fits your needs.
back, South Africa, and yes, we are still cooking along with the amazing Chef Mbombi. And right now, we're on the third part of our cook-along. Yes, we've made the beef livers. Yes, we've also made the chicken necks. Now we're making a stew, but we're not using just normal beef. We're not using just normal chicken. We're using boerewors.
Yeah, so we're using boerewors because typically everybody knows boerewors as a shisanyama.
Yebo.
But today we're changing the whole concept, right?
That's amazing.
Making stew. It's gonna have potatoes, carrots, and a whole lot of ingredients. So yeah, that's what we're making now.
Yeah, well, I did say South Africa that he likes to put a twist on all his dishes. Normally, boerewors, like you say, on the braai, but today we're
Quick
making
fast,
it a
yeah.
homey dish.
So this is a comfort dish. This is a dish that says, let me chill in bed, let me eat my stew in peace. So that's what we're gonna be doing now. And while you're cutting the carrots and the potatoes for me, I'll be doing the boerewors.
Okay.
itself. So
One thing I saw is that the boerewors was a full long sausage initially,
Sure.
and you actually made it into these little sausages.
yeah, so I can basically show you with one.
Okay.
So let me. So what you need to do is, because obviously it's still soft,
Okay.
make an opening with your finger and you just twist it. You know.
Okay.
So you just do the whole process again and again. So what I'll do here, make sure that my pan is very hot.
And the one thing I've noticed, Chef, that you've kept this
Yeah.
thread going throughout. So you've had hot pan for the livers, we've got a hot pot for the necks, and then a hot pot for the wors as well. So that's very important. Isn't that then going to maybe perhaps burn the wors on the outside and then not cook it on the inside?
Look, that you shouldn't be worried about, because as the wors we're gonna fry it for about 2 minutes,
Okay.
just to brown it. Then we're still gonna put it back into
Okay.
the whole potato carrot mixture, so
Makes
that it cooks in the inside on a very low heat. So yeah, to basically continue with our cooking of our stew, is we're gonna put wors in there for the frying part.
Okay.
So while our wors is frying,
Okay.
I'm gonna prep my onions.
Okay, Chef, I want to know more about you, and I think South Africa is probably just as curious as I am. I
Sure.
mean, we've used some of the most economical items here of meat. We've used liver, which is probably one of the most affordable cuts of meat.
Sure.
We've used chicken necks, which is also quite affordable, and now we're using wors, which is not only affordable, but also versatile.
Yeah.
You did mention that that's what you're about. You're about making sure that dishes are affordable. What's the story behind that? Did you grow up basically in a home where you had to make, the most of what you had, or is it just a preference?
Look, most of us we come from places where it was never easy, really, and our parents, our grandmothers, our grandfathers had to make sure that they're making ends meet, and with the food that they used to buy, it was always cost effective because it had to last us for a very long time. So I think that I took it with me up until today, and I made sure that it's something that I don't lose. It is just basically bettering a way of cooking those cost-effective ingredients to making them better.
I fully agree, and I understand, because growing up in our neighborhoods, in a township,
Sure.
there's always, it's not just the family, just the mother and the father, there's always the cousins, your cousins, your brothers and so forth. So we always had to make sure that a dish goes a long way. So it's not just about today, it's about feeding a couple of mouths in the house. So this dish goes a long way.
Look, sikhuluma ngempilo yasekhaya. The community is your family.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'd actually go to a neighbor's house and uzodlela khona, that's where you get your last dish, and that's where we come from. And I think that's where the whole spirit of Ubuntu get promoted. That's where it all started, because it was always that system, and that's how we always knew, our humble beginnings to be like. So it has a very fundamental role on how we actually were raised till this point,
Lovely, I agree with you, and I understand exactly what you're saying. So right now you're just charring, or rather just searing the wors for us on the outside.
And it looks beautiful, right?
I can't wait to see it. I'm too far, because like we said, we're maintaining our social distance.
I'm gonna try to reduce my heat. Yeah.
I'm liking the fact that you are using tongs, which is something that I think people have to understand. Whenever you're working with bors,
Yeah.
never poke the bors, so never use forks because you basically remove all the liquid, all those juices in there.
Yeah.
So try and make sure that you use tongs or something else so that you don't poke through, the actual casing of the bors. Rather use tongs and not a fork.
Because at the end of the day, the meat that they use there, it is mixed with spices, mixed with different types of things, and it's flavor on its own.
Yeah.
And you don't want that to escape. So in the very same pan, I'll try to add a bit of oil.
Okay.
So I'll add 1 diced onion.
I think another thing that I'm liking about this, and I know a lot of ladies will agree with me, you're making sure that these are all one-pot dishes, meaning that there's not a lot of dishes to do at the end of the day.
No, for sure. It's time effectiveness.
Yeah.
Get into the kitchen, do what you have to do, then get out.
Yeah.
That's me. You know, I don't like spending a lot of time in the kitchen. So one-pot dishes is something that I do a lot, including this one. you know.
Okay. So you're not speaking only to the ladies that have to do the dishes, but all the bachelors as well that live alone, that don't have time
If they have to cook for their ladies as well, you know. So,
Noted.
so our dish needs your garlic now.
Okay, perfect.
I'm
Let me
waiting
pass
for
that
it.
to you.
I'm waiting
You did mention, Shem, that you and garlic are friends, and I think that's the
True.
one thing we both agree on. Garlic in
So-
a dish,
I think there's, how many cloves is this?
that was 5.
Okay, cool. No, it's fine. No one dies of
We're
garlic.
keeping the vampires away.
Yeah, so onions in here,
Okay?
garlic in here. So what we're gonna do next, paste. I'm gonna just do, because the most difficult thing is that, or the one thing that you need to be aware of, you cannot use a lot of paste because you don't want your stews to be so red. You know?
Okay.
That's the one thing that you don't want to do. So a bit of paste, I'm gonna add a bit more. Give that a twist. Give that a twist. So the next part is I'm gonna onion powder. Do that. This is the fun part because it's just mixing everything around. Garlic powder. Barbecue spice. Look at how I'm going. Paprika. Cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper again.
Okay.
You and heat, I
A
chef.
bit of salt.
I give up.
Just a bit of salt. We're gonna do black pepper. A bit more oil because these spices can actually make your mixture to be a bit dry.
Okay.
So give that a twist. Give that a twist. Then the fun part is we're gonna throw our potatoes in there.
Okay. So now, I mean, potatoes and carrots take a long time to cook.
No, for sure. So what we basically gonna look at the cooking times.
Okay.
We're gonna give this mixture about 15 minutes to cook.
Okay.
Right? Till the potatoes are a bit tender. Then we're gonna take that wors and give it 5 more minutes because wors basically doesn't take a lot of time to cook.
True.
Then we're gonna mix everything together. So bit of carrots. Carrots in there. Give this a mix. Give that a mix.
I can actually smell all those spices from where I am right now. I'm smelling the paprika, I'm smelling the barbecue spice.
So, another thing, the soup powder. What we did with the next is what we're gonna do
Okay.
with the soup powder. So, I'm gonna take a spoon for this one, right? Or maybe just
Maybe
another
more.
half, right? So, and give it a good mix as well. Give this a good mix. Give that a good mix. Then, I think this is about 500 mils
Okay.
of stock. Pour this in, all of it.
And this is the best part because now all you do is just let it cook.
Let it cook. So
Ignore
we're gonna
it.
just add more water to the stock. The more stock, the better,
Okay.
because you don't want your mixture to be thick very quickly.
Of course.
Yeah. So
Which is, I think, something that people forget when using soup powders is that if you're going to be using a soup powder, You need to have enough liquid to make sure that it thickens
Sure.
up, but it doesn't thicken up too
It
quickly.
becomes it's thicker quickly. So this is the mixture that we
Okay.
have. Potatoes, carrots,
Used to know.
onions, garlic, the spices, everything in here. And basically what we're gonna do, the coriander, it's just, a last minute element. It's
Okay.
just gonna be. So you need some time to let this,
How much time?
you need about 15 minutes to let it simmer.
Well, chef, we don't have 15 minutes, so how are we going to work around that?
Well, to finish the whole dish, I'm still coming to that. To finish the whole dish, you need about 30 minutes.
Oh,
Right? And I know time is money, but we don't have that time, as you said. So we're gonna let this simmer,
okay.
right? But I have a surprise for you because I've actually, cooked the dish earlier.
Yes, sir.
This is what I've got, and as I said, the coriander is a last minute, cherry on top type
Okay.
of thing. I've spoken about the coriander leaves.
Yes.
So the coriander leaves is just the cherry on top. So we're gonna chop this, throw it in there, then you're basically gonna dish up.
Yeah, please get dishing up. I'm hungry, chef. I'm hungry. We've been here for a while. I'm hungry. I need to eat, and I'm sure South Africa is just as curious and excited to see this. A boerewors stew. I don't know how many of you guys actually have made this. If you want to try it out, we've got the recipe for you on afternoonexpress.co.za. Chef is adding the finishing touches. Chef, please dish up silambile. Sifuna ukudla.
So we're gonna have these herbs here. Just give it a
Is it?
twist.
Ooh, that looks goodest. It's okay, chef, if you don't want me to taste anything. We are going to eat all of this at the end of the show. But for now, South Africa, we've got one more dish. One more, and we're almost at the finish line. So please do join us after these.
A true South African classic. Chicken gizzards and hearts coming up.
Express yourself.
way.
Clover Fresh Milk.
Made with love by Clover.
Express yourself.
Yes, South Africa, you guessed it. We are at the final part of our cook-along with Chef Mbombi. Chef, we've done quite a lot of different things here. We started off with ox liver.
Yes.
We then continued with chicken necks.
Yeah.
And then we did something unconventional. We made a boerewors stew. South Africa, you heard me right, it is a boerewors stew. And now we're doing something else, which a lot of people don't normally cook with these ingredients, but you've chosen to celebrate them.
Yeah.
We're making a dish with chicken hearts and gizzards.
We are doing a giblet combination.
Yes.
Chicken hearts and gizzards.
That's crazy.
Who does that?
Who does that? To be honest though, you had asked us that you wanted us to use chicken heads.
Sure.
They're not always easily accessible, but if you can, so you said that you can make the same recipe using chicken heads and not
So
giblets.
basically, with the chicken heads, you're spicing them. As we'll go through the recipe,
Mm-hmm.
you will see. You just substitute the meat and you use chicken heads and you just basically fry them. You know. So
Okay.
The very same heads that you find by the corners with the street vendors that are selling chicken heads, then that's the very same thing that you find, but it is more modernized.
Hi, Chef, let's get into this because I really want to know more about the food that we're making here because you've mentioned a couple of times good street food, but get us into the recipe first and then
Yeah.
we'll get into that a little later.
So the recipe, it's very, very simple. Over here, I've got my gizzards. They've been cooking for quite some time because
Okay.
they're very, very tough and they take a bit longer to cook. And here I've got my chicken hearts. I love them so much because I have a story why I love chicken hearts. I don't know if you know Nkulele Katlego.
Okay.
Nkulele K1, and there was a guy who used to sell chicken hearts at a place where there's a hurricane.
Okay.
You know, the outlet maintains these chicken hearts in Biwababa. From that day, I fell in love with chicken hearts because of that guy. This has been cooking, our
Okay.
gizzards, and we've got hearts in here. So I'll take our gizzards because they've been cooking for quite some time.
Okay.
Just drain them.
So you said for quite some time. How long is quite some time?
So it could be an hour.
Okay.
An hour until they are soft, depending on the softness that you want.
Okay.
So if you want them extra soft, then you can take it further. So we're gonna mix the two together.
Okay.
These are the hearts, the gizzards.
And luckily, once again, yes, most people know that when we're cooking with chicken,
Sure.
we want to make sure that it's cooked through fully. But in this case, you've mixed the cooked and the raw because it's still going to get cooked again. So we don't have to worry about
yeah,
it.
because the cooking time for the chicken hearts, right? It's they cook quicker.
Quicker, okay.
So this for the gizzard, it has to be soft. So we cannot give it the very same
Cooking time.
the very same cooking time. So we're gonna put our black pepper in here,
Okay.
a bit of salt. So this doesn't require a lot of spices. So chicken spice, I know one of the favorite for a lot of people.
And that's another thing. We've maintained a theme of economical ingredients. You've used
Cost-effectiveness.
almost the same ingredients with or similar spices throughout the dishes, meaning that basically you have those ingredients in your pantry,
Yeah.
you just reuse them and just cook different ingredients,
Sure.
basically.
Now, I'm gonna put in a Vodka style Vista, well, I'll call it Vista sauce, please don't blame me.
Worcestershire sauce.
What?
That thing, South Africa, we're putting Worcestershire sauce into, however you pronounce it, we're putting that into,
Vista sauce.
okay,
Vista sauce.
into your giblets and your hearts.
So, our cooking oil, olive oil, whatever it is that you'll be using.
The one thing I have to mention, South Africa, though, is because of the kind of ingredients and dishes we're making, because we want to cook at high temperature, it is advisable that you use an oil that has a high smoking point. So any canola oil, sunflower oil, olive oil might burn too quickly, so rather use an oil that has more sustenance, like perhaps sunflower oil or canola oil.
Sure.
From here.
So we're gonna throw everything, huh? We're gonna keep this on a very high heat
Okay.
while it's cooking. And we're gonna finish it off by adding some barbecue sauce
Okay.
onto this. So for me, I like this as a snack.
Okay.
You know, just do this, snack, TV, soccer. That's how I love to enjoy it. So
Okay.
this one is for enjoyment. This one is for, you can call it a starter.
Okay.
You know, before you eat the other meals that you've actually prepared. So yeah, saving the best for
Saving the best for last.
saving the best for last.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's good to know, Chef. And I think that's what people basically want to know about you.
Yeah.
Who is Chef Mbonani? The fact that you've gotten into food, and we can see the passion in your eyes when you speak about it. Like, why food? Why did you decide to become a chef? Is there something that inspired that? Is there someone who influenced your decision to become a chef and cook?
I took home economics as a subject, and I took it as a chill class, basically. To be honest, I took it because there
No
was
one
that
does anything.
concept that you don't do anything, you just go chill, and I just fell in love with it. You know, so from there, I went to HTA. And the love grew. The love for this basically grew, and to a point where, yes, it was influenced by different other cuisines, but African, food dominated the whole thing that I was doing, and yeah.
That's an amazing story, and I think I want to pose the question to you, South Africa, as well. I've mentioned that there's a special place in my heart, in my hood, that does the most amazing street food, and you've mentioned as well Likato Hong. So what is the one item that is street food for you, South Africa, that you think your neighborhood makes and is the best? Post on social media on afternoonexpress.co.za and hashtag Afternoon Express, and let us know what your idea is of what the best place is for you. But Chef, how are we looking on that dish right now?
Because the gizzards have been cooking and the gizzards are soft, and the frying part, you roughly need 10 minutes to
Okay.
do this. So 10 minutes, high heat, you fry those gizzards and hearts. Then to finish it off, you then throw in your barbecue sauce,
Okay.
give that a twist, and remove from the heat.
I definitely can't wait to try those. And one thing you did mention is that you do love food, and you enjoy basically the preparation of it and the community of it.
Yeah.
And one other thing that's going to be happening later is that we're going to be joined by two of your friends who will actually be joining into this amazing meal with us. Who are these two surprise people that are joining us?
I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Okay, you don't want to run a
Look,
surprise.
you'll see.
Okay, South Africa, we've got an amazing surprise coming up.
Express yourself.
Clover fresh milk.
Made with love by Clover.
Express yourself.
Our chef Dumi has been cooking up a storm in Joburg's Maboneng district with Chef Mbombi. She's sitting down to a buffet of traditional meals with a modern twist with Chef Mbombi's friends, actor, DJ, and personal trainer Senzo Khatebe, and MC and promoter DJ Fanatic. They have ox liver, chicken necks, boerewors stew, chicken gizzards, and hearts. So let's join them and salivate over their feast.
Yes, South Africa, you guessed it. We are at the end and it is time to dig in. Our guests have arrived and I think the only thing that is necessary for us to do now is for you, Chef, to tell us who these amazing people are.
Yeah, sure. These are my friends.
Fans.
My friends, not fans.
We are fans.
So, oh my God, the man with the pink hair.
Yeah. Dig in.
That is DJ Fanatic. I think we the friendship started growing. I never knew Fanatic. I think I started knowing Fanatic and Magoya.
Yeah.
Then we started growing to be, great friends, and we started talking business and stuff like that, and concepts that need to be done. And Usenzo score. What a score. So with Usenzo, it's funny. I actually met Usenzo on the set of Mbang because I was actually cooking for them.
Oh.
Right? Okay. I was working in the kitchen, and so we met there, we exchanged numbers, and we hooked up, and that's where the friendship actually started. And now it's even, it's bigger than that,
So Senzo, he says that Chef says you guys met on the set of a TV show, and he was cooking. And I'd like to think that you are the best person to tell us whether his cooking has grown over the years or not. Did you fall in love with his food, or did you just fall in love with his personality?
I'm here, bro. I'm here.
Better be careful.
Just the friendship.
Be careful how you
It's
answer.
not just the friendship. When he said, yo, come through, we want to be cooking, I'm like, yes.
Okay.
Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I get you. And Fanatic,
Yeah.
does his food make you a fanatic, or?
I think before me and him were friends, I used to follow his Instagram page. And then we met there's a place in Vosloo called, and then it was like a nice vibe. And they're the most amazing vors I've ever had. And apparently he's the one that was cooking it.
Okay.
So I think his food is quite amazing, actually.
Okay, it is my turn and I'm tasting, and the food is amazing, Chef, I have to say. Kudos to you, well done. You didn't just burn your fingers mahala in the kitchen. You
Thanks.
Udikhatile, as we say, Kasutu. And South Africa, if you want the recipe details, do go to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full ingredients list. Hi, Chef, I think I'm going to join you. This cutlery thing is delaying me now. I want to eat. I want to use my hands. I want to dig in. South Africa, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of our Cook Along. But from me and our lovely guest, that you can see the rose among the thorns. Stay safe, happy eating, and good night, South Africa.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.